Stoicism is a very popular concept or thing, especially amongst men, and especially these days with this red pill sort of masculinity movement with people like Andrew Tate and Alex Hormozy and all of these masculine figures who talk about success, talk about creating wealth, talk about all of this stuff. And they also talk about being stoic, the importance of being stoic. And to them, I would say being stoic means you shut your feelings down. Your feelings don't matter. And there's something powerful and there's something beautiful and there's something that men really resonate with in that you're not overrun by your feelings, in that you can be productive, you can be successful in the world, and you're not letting your feelings overwhelm you and pull you away from your mission in life, pull you away from not creating in life, from not creating what you want in life. And so there's something pretty profound and something that really resonates with people, especially men, about Stoicism. But I think the way that most of these, I don't know what you call them, red pill fucking masculinity teachers talk about Stoicism in a way where they shut down their emotions, they repress their emotions, they don't want to feel their emotions. And because of that, a lot of these teachers, a lot of these people that men and young men look up to, like, again, Andrew Tate and all them, they're very in touch with one emotion. And one emotion is very, very obvious within them. And that is anger. They're very good at expressing anger. And anger can feel very powerful, but you can see it in them. There's this fucking anger, there's this rage. And so they're not completely stoic. They're stoic in that they don't show sadness. They're stoic in that they don't show embarrassment. They're stoic in that they don't show fear. They're stoic in that they don't show shame. But there's one emotion that they're not very stoic at, and that is anger. Because the reason that there's so much anger, the reason that there's so much pain, is because that's an acceptable emotion for them to show. That's an acceptable emotion for them to express. But all of the other emotions, what they're simply doing with them is they're repressing them. They're pushing them down. They're not wanting them. They're getting rid of them. And so Stoicism can actually simply be repressing your feelings so much that you come into a dissociated state, and so you can seem very unemotional, but under the surface there's all of this repression and all of this like dense shadow of the psyche, which is going to be wreaking havoc in your life, and which is actually going to be causing you unhappiness. So, is there another way to be stoic which doesn't suppress or repress these feelings? Is there another way of being stoic whereby, yes, you can have this presence, whereby, yes, you can achieve in life, where you're not completely overrun by your emotions every moment, where you do have this masculine purpose and drive, and yet you're not denying these feelings? And I would say, yeah, there is. So it's all about presence. It's all about developing the presence of being that is strong enough so that is your predominant, that's the predominant space that you inhabit, is this space of presence. And within that presence, every emotion, whether it's shame or fear or anxiety or sadness or anger or rage, can come up and can shake and move and process through your nervous system, yet you can be unmoved. You can remain in presence with shame moving through your system. You can remain in presence, you can remain on purpose, moving towards your purpose, going about your day, creating your business, doing well at work, and yet you're not denying your healing. You're not denying these emotions. In fact, you're fully welcoming them. You're fully accepting them. You're fully creating space within yourself for all feelings to exist, for all feelings to move through. So being stoic doesn't mean you don't have feelings. Being stoic doesn't mean you don't experience shame. Being stoic doesn't mean you don't experience fear. In fact, being stoic might mean that you experience these even more intensely. But the difference is they don't shake you away from your center. And in my opinion, that is how you develop a true masculinity within yourself, a true masculine presence. And a masculinity within yourself doesn't, like I say, it doesn't mean that you're not an emotional person. It means that you're not moved off-center by your emotions, at least most of the time. So you can still do what needs to be done in the world, and you can have these emotions coursing through your system and healing through you. So the initial question was, is there a link between Stoicism and embodiment? And I would say you develop true Stoicism through embodiment practices. True Stoicism, which isn't the denial of feeling, but is the full welcoming and acceptance of feeling. Because it's the denial of feeling, it's the not wanting to feel, which actually pulls you unconscious. It pulls you away from your masculine presence, because it pulls you into mind. But to really embrace feeling, to have the courage to meet your feelings, allows you to experience any wave of whatever comes your way, and you can still find a place within your heart or find a place within your consciousness which has an intelligence which is beyond the reactivity, and an intelligence which is beyond emotionality. So yeah, a part of it is about, even when you're shaken up, even when you've got all sorts of mad, crazy shit going on, what are you moving from? Are you automatically moving from your reactivity? Are you automatically moving from a place of trying to keep yourself safe, listening to the fears, listening to the shame, listening to the doubt, listening to the anger, listening to the rage, and acting from that? Or is the shame moving through you, the doubt moving through you, the heartbreak moving through you, the anger moving through you, and yet you're present with it, you're seeing it, you're aware of it, and yet you're not necessarily acting upon that. You're quietly sensing into, what is the truth here? You're sensing into, what is the right move here? What is the right thing to do here? And of course, that's not always possible. Sometimes we're taken over by emotions, and that's natural. But the more and more we go down this path, the more we develop this stoic consciousness, which isn't moved by reactivity in the same way. And at the same time, it's not suppressing or repressing our emotional world. Because, like these red pill masculinity teachers are always saying, they shut down their emotions. Instead of feeling sadness, they'll do 1,000 press-ups. Or instead of feeling sadness, they'll really get angry and make a video and rant about something down the camera. And what they're doing in that, they act hard, they think they're so hard, they think they're so strong, but they're actually fucking terrified of the feminine. They're terrified of the feminine within themselves. And so to truly let in all of the emotional waves, but to not be taken by it, is to come into relationship with the feminine within yourself. Is to be the masculine for your own feminine. And then you move in the world in a much more balanced, mature, and truly masculine way. So yeah, that's what I've got to say about that. Thank you.